Welcome, everybody. And for those of you who celebrate the new Jewish New Year, Shana Tova, and for those of you who celebrate Navaratri, well, Jai Shri Durga. And for those of you who just celebrate life, isn't it wonderful life? So I thank you for the opportunity to present to you again. I have a lot of questions that has been sent, and I mean there's masses of questions on each page, and so I'm going to speak only a little bit about a few things, and really it's about you living the life that you love and living it out loud. It really is important for you to express who you are in life and the truth of your being. As you uncover it, as you are discovering it for yourself, and as you are inventing it for yourself as well. So we're not who we defined ourselves in the past to be. We have at every moment a choice and a chance to redefine ourselves. And especially now with the Jewish New Year, it's a time of recreation, recreating yourself, reinventing yourself, giving your commitment to life, to your life. And so the person who really gets to say what is allowed or not allowed in your life is ultimately yourself. So this is your life, here and now, and here and now has got nothing to do with a time or a space. So right now, in a time and space, I'm in certain coordinates in the world, on planet Earth, in a certain galaxy, in a certain constellation, in a city called London in the UK. But that's not necessarily here. Here is where my consciousness and awareness is. And often we're somewhere and we desire to be elsewhere. So being here and now is a very interesting engagement of the question. And now, what is now? So often we harbor about the past, and that is about memory. And then we fantasize about the future, and we totally miss the present moment. And the key and access for you to really drop in the here and now, which if we just rearrange one letter and one space only, it means nowhere. Now, here equals nowhere. So you can see my last post on Facebook. And it really is about where do we bring our awareness to? And it's a choice. It's a matter of choice. And the way that we have access is that we've got this amazing vehicle for our soul. And this vehicle has sensations. It's got body sensations. You have touch, you feel cold or heat or hunger. All these things are just waking you up to being in the present moment. But you may have hunger. You're not really hungry. That's not who you are. You're not a hungry. You have hunger. And it's the same with you may have pain. You are not pain. Although some people might be a pain in the and that's okay as well. It's just a matter of speech. And it's the way we offer the generosity of our listening to these people. And we can actually transform how we experience certain people. And it's a matter of choice. So our body actually gives us a clue and a key and an access, a doorway to being here. Because this life, this journey, in this vehicle of transformation, this vehicle of your soul, if you like, the chariot of your soul, is temporary, and it's so fleeting, and it can come and go really quickly, as I've discovered. So it's really amazing to every moment marvel. Whenever you're feeling pain or discomfort, it is telling you something. It is actually as if the body or the spirit communicating with you, trying to communicate with you, tell you something. So some people say, well, is all my ailments or disease is all made up? Is it all my doing? And the answer is yes. Things happen, circumstances happen. And it is as if though our soul or consciousness or the subconscious, the collective consciousness, we chose it at some level. We chose to have that experience for whatever it is we're here to do. So there's been a few questions, and yeah, and I would like to address them so that to give you, I must confess, it is an interesting challenge to sit in front of a camera where I know there's people out there, but I'm just talking. So normally I'm used to live audiences, and it's quite an interesting challenge, although I know you're out there, and it's a real honor to be talking to you. And yes, I am talking to you. And yes, you know who you are. And if you're thinking, is it me? Yeah, most certainly. Okay, so there's a beautiful say that planted in the soil of your soul is the seed of true potential. And it really is when the fertile ground of your consciousness creates the right conditions, then it will germinate. So whatever you're experiencing in life is only because you're ready for it. That's it. So it's all perfect. Now, if you are having certain ailments or certain pains, or the people that you are facilitating healing to are experiencing certain things, it's all okay. You need to be compassionate. Compassion means sitting with someone else's suffering. You don't have to fix anything. Just being with someone and listening to the pain or allowing them to express that enables it to dissipate, enables it to disperse very naturally. So I had a lot of questions about shoulders and frozen shoulders or frozen arm, pain in the neck, which is a very interesting thing as well. So there's pain in the neck, there's shoulders, neck, and throat as well. So I want to address that, and also there's quite a lot of questions. I'm going to take one. So the shoulders, it's very interesting. Depends where it is on the shoulders. Obviously, I've written a whole list and ideas about what to do and how to address or treat or heal that. But really, ultimately, you want to invite the person you're facilitating to dialogue with the shoulder or the pain there. Or if it was a little being, what would it look like? What is it trying to tell you? Never assume that you know anything, so that on the shoulder, it could be connected to something you really have no idea. So when I do color puncture, and often to treat a pain in the shoulder, we go to the very end of the toe, the big toe. the shoulder, certain points on the shoulders are connected to internal organs such as the pancreas. So to treat the pancreas, I would actually go to the meridians that are on the big toe and on the shoulders. So if there's a shoulder pain or something with the toe, make sure your diet is right, or the person you're treating, their diet is right. Because often the pancreas is to do with bile, whether it is emotional or whether it is physical. Whatever is emotional or psychological converts into the physical when it talks through our body. So we really need to look at the whole person, the holistic system. So you've got to take really care of the whole being, their emotional, how they eat, what they eat. I, for instance, love eating that which is extremely good for me and extremely bad for me. So I have an addiction to chilies. So to the state that it is an addiction and it's not good for me, but I love it and I'm not willing to give that up. I'm willing to modify that and moderate it. So it's about choices that we make about our lifestyle and our well-being. So I know that eating chilies increases the metabolism, but it also increases the heat generation within my body. It's a way for me to burn up my anger. It's a wonderful tool to burn up my anger. I'm not advising you to start eating chili, but just be aware of whatever it is that you crave most, that which is good for you and that which is not. It has repercussions and it has indications as to what's going on with you internally, emotionally, physically, psychologically, and spiritually. So going back to the shoulder, depending on which shoulder, so I don't know, I think in the video here, it's mirrored. Therefore, this is my right side, my right, and this is my left side. So I don't know how it comes out in the video. Anyway, so on the shoulder, if it's on my left shoulder, it's my emotional, my feminine aspect. And if it's on my right, it's the masculine, the cognitive faculties. And depending also where on the shoulder. So I've sent in the group, I've sent a lot of points on the shoulders, at the back of the shoulders, the shoulder blades, if you like, spiritually, it's where the clipped wings of your being an angel. So there's a lot of the deep unconscious is seated there. At the top, it's about very grossly talking about how we take the weight of responsibility towards the world. It's something emotional that was put upon us through our ancestry or upbringing. And at some point, we actually chose that for ourselves. Now, the truth of our being is actually, it's actually the joy of the soul, to express joy. So the only weight on our shoulders ought to be the joy of the soul. Yet we carry the worries of our children, if we have children. We carry the worries about our families and what society will say. We take on board all sorts of things. So actually, if you're worried about something, you don't have to make it into a burden. You can actually enjoy, because it's a choice. You've taken on board something that fills your soul, that fills the purpose of your being right here, right now, at this moment. Of course, we have many purposes in this lifetime, in this form. So the shoulders, be aware that it's not just what is here. So if you're having, or the person you're treating has got pain in the shoulder, that is the symptoms. It is not the source. So if you are wanting to just treat the symptoms, great. Give a massage, go to chiropractor or osteopath. Have a lovely aromatherapy massage or a sport massage, or put all sorts of heat and cold compressors. That's okay. But really, in order to pierce through the cause of it, the person who is having the issue with the shoulders ought to engage in, oh, what does that mean for me? What is my shoulder communicating to me? And it's really when we're willing to listen to our body parts, literally. And you could do that as a gestalt in gestalt therapies or psychodrama. They take an element of our being and put it on the seat in front of us, and then we dialogue. What does the shoulder, what does the pain wanting to communicate and tell me? So you'll be surprised. And you'll be surprised because it's often not here. Here is what we notice too, what we notice. So it's often about what it is that we are actually missing, what it is that we're not willing to look at. Okay, so sometimes it's uncomfortable, but actually when you have the realizations, when you distinguish it for yourselves, or find in Hebrew they call it tovanot, when you can see clearly, when you get, wow, that's what it's about, it disappears. So the other way of disappearing a pain or an ailment is actually sending love to it rather than resisting it and pushing against it. So these ailments, these disease or dis-ease in the body, they are communicating something to us. They are communicating things that we often do not want to address, and we push it. And there comes a point that we really have to address that. Otherwise, it will force us in some form or another to, and it's often uncomfortable if we ignore the signs, it will force us to stop, to take stock, to really look, if we're willing to be really honest with ourselves. So the shoulder could mean that you need to change your diet to a low-fat diet. Simple as that, because it is connected to the pancreas. It is connected to the toe. So there's these things. There's a whole host of things, but you need to know what your shoulders actually are about. What does it represent to you in your life? And again, with the neck, there's a lot of points there in the neck. It's the whole, the neck is the whole structure that all the energies coming from the lower chakras into the higher, the upper chakras, and it all gets twisted there, a bit like the DNA helix, double helix. And so there's a lot of meridians and a lot of energy lines that come through the neck, through the back of the neck, and the back of the neck and the throat. And so it's a very, very important place. And if we don't speak the truth, and if we're avoiding telling the truth to our own selves, and if we have some unresolved issues with our masculine aspects or a masculine being in our relationships, it will manifest as unexpressed anger or ailments or losing voice or coughing. And often something that is hidden from our view in regards to telling the truth will manifest as pain in the neck. Or if we are unwilling to be movable from our points of views. Our points of views are so made up. They're just created. And we become so rigid about them, as if though they're the ultimate truth. And truth can vary according to how we feel. Truth can vary. Even a physical truth or a fact can vary from a different vantage point of view. If you are thousands of miles away, or in space, or traveling at a certain speed. So truths are very varied. And as you know, when it comes to introducing another human being, their truth and your truth, even though you might be experiencing the same event, might be totally altered. Very, very, it's like from different planets, different realities. So the neck pain and unable to move, it's about the fear of some shift is coming, something is happening, and we are unwilling to be movable, or there's fear about letting go and surrendering to that. There's a lot of, again, points there. The neck at the back is where the stem cell, the brain stem, goes in to the vertebrae, and that is basically the land command. So for your whole being, it's where all the meridians and all the command center go through and travel through the spine. So it's a really, really fragile place. Also, the root of the neck, where it enters the back, where there's the point there that is sometimes like a hump at the back, and that is a melancholy. Mine is not pronounced, so I'm not so attached to being melancholic, but with some people it's a little bit pronounced. And so you need to be aware of tendencies to being melancholic, or attached to certain dramas and certain stories. If we alter the story about something, a pain that happened to us in the past, someone said to me about a rape, and I gave the example of how I transformed a rape story into an initiation. I altered it in my mind's eye so that it occurs as if though it's an initiation, which actually empowers the person much more. Now, everything that I'm saying is not the truth here. Everything here comes with a health warning as well. Now, there's a few comments. Shana Tova, dear beloved Ariel. Shana Tova, and welcome to Israel. Welcome to you. And Ronnie and Ran Deren. Namaste. Such an honor. So yes, if there's any questions, please do make a comment. I'll see if I can read it without my glasses. So we were talking about the neck, the land command, what it means, the place at the back of the neck, the root where the back starts. It's the melancholic center. And so some of us are really, really attached to misery. And it's okay. And also the Jewish culture is very much about not being noticed. So when we are in misery, we get more payoffs, because people notice us for certain reasons and are not necessarily envious of us. So yeah, and there was also a question about envy. One of the questions was envy. What do we do about creative envies? And I've addressed that, and I'm happy to actually address that as well. But in regard to the neck, it really is important to realize about it's our ability or willingness to be movable, to move our vantage point, to see it from another point of view, to take on board and experience and try on not being right, So it really is quite something to give up our right to being right. This is a bit of landmark speech, the right to be right, and we all know what that is like. In the front, speaking the truth. Now, for the Israelis amongst us, and there's quite a few, the speaking the truth as an Israeli comes very easy, but it's what truth? At what cost? So I always say, speak the truth for the benefit of all, for the benefit of others. So I'm still Israeli somewhere, although I have lived for 38 years in England. But as an Israeli born, I have this chutzpah and directness. And I tell things, I tell people things that are sometimes uncomfortable to digest, or in a way that is delivered. And I need to look at my intention. Am I intending to shock them? And am I intending to deliver that communication in order to have one up on them, in order to manipulate them? Or am I actually delivering it from unconditional love, from caring about the other? And it's nothing to do with me, not looking good for myself. And that's a really difficult one. We really need to come from generosity of being. It's not about us, it's about what we facilitate for others. So that's one thing that I was contemplating yesterday at the synagogue, actually, and was listening to the prayer when we were talking about the different gateways, different gates, which is absolutely wonderful, moved to tears. And then there's a part when we're singing that we are the sacrifice. We are offering the sacrifice, and we are the altar. It's not actually said it like that, but that's what in essence it means. We are offering the sacrifice. We are the sacrifice, or the sacrificial lamb, and we are the altar. We are all of that. I can't remember how it is. Akedah and Hamizbeach. So my Hebrew is a bit rusty. So yeah, I'm not sure what an NV stands for. Someone wrote something. Israel, you wrote something NV. You can write in Hebrew. I read Hebrew, so I can answer that. So it's about, what is it really that whenever we think that we're separate from something, we're not. We're actually connected, deeply connected. So we are that which we are observing. We are the observer, we are the experiment, and we're the result. We are all of that. So that is in Tantra. We're the scientist, we're the guinea pig, and we are the result of the science experiment. So that is really that we're all of that. And when we're thinking about, oh yes, if I'm tasting something, if I'm ingesting some piece of food, I am this piece of food, I am the taster, but I'm also taste, if you like, that platform of experience. So this is it. And it's about ingesting. How much do we allow ourselves to ingest, to flow? This will determine how much truth do we allow to flow through our being, to be a channel of good and healing for the world, for ourselves and others. When we allow the flow of abundance, so here is where we change karma. The currency is what we barter against, but it's also the flow. It's also the exchange rate. But currency, it's being in the current, being in the flow of abundance. That's what abundance is. It's you standing in that river of life, of the abundance of life that life gives to you. It's like the sunlight. It is shining unconditionally. Yes, sometimes it's cloudier in England, and rainier, but it's always shining somewhere. The sunlight is giving abundantly, unconditionally. And it's how much can we allow ourselves to really be a channel of good in the world unconditionally. That's an interesting question. How much you speak the truth? How clear are you in your communication when you're talking to someone? How much do you tell them that you love them? I love you all. It really is about clarity of your being. When you're clear what you're about, it's okay to say, well, I'm about myself. I'm selfish right now, or I am selfless. Be true to what you are. It's okay. It's absolutely okay. Be clean with your intentions. Clean your cupboards. Clean your house. Clean the tables. It really makes a huge difference to how you are. Clean the drawers that everything is hidden. So between now and the Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, I invite you to really clean your act. And that would help. That would ease ailments. That would heal all the pain in the neck. What is it that you didn't tell the truth about? Is there any bit of money that you didn't declare to the tax? Okay, it really makes a difference in our being. So I invite you to clean your act in all aspects of your being, from speaking the truth to the people that you love. And if you also communicate with them as if though it is the only time you're communicating with them, really, we don't know what's going to happen, especially if you are in Israel right now. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't. So whatever interaction you have with anyone, this could be the last interaction. So make a difference, contribute to a stranger. You don't know how far it goes. I met someone 20 years ago and haven't seen them or haven't been in communication with them for about 18 years, I think. And then suddenly they contacted me on Facebook, inviting me to go to a different continent. Now, she is now actively bringing me over to a completely different continent, in a different hemisphere to where I am in England. And it's really exciting. But that was because of a little contribution 20 years ago. Again, with New Zealand, there's someone I met briefly at a bus stop, a young person, the age of my daughter. I met briefly for 5-minute conversation. I have no idea what I said to them, but from being a traveler, he transformed to being a highly successful millionaire, and invited me over to come back again. And so we don't know. One word, one smile, if we go out in a bus stop and we look at someone in their eyes, they might be having a bad day, or they might have heard someone is suffering. We can actually, by looking at them, we can really transform their experience of being alive. So speak the truth. Be movable. Think about how the neck, whether you're rigid in your perceptions, a really good practice is what the Tibetan Buddhist monks do. It's when they have really strong feelings about something or very strong convictions about something, to the point where there's heated emotions, they draw a line on the sand, if you like, or etheric line, and they argue fervently about that point of view. And when they are expunged, when everything has been expressed, they jump onto the other side and start arguing with such heat from the other point of view. And they go backwards and forwards until there is no charge. And so doing this as a gestalt, if you like, you can sit and communicate over a different cushion or a different seat, it will actually, whatever point of view, it could be political point of view, it could be about emotional something. Whenever we have strong emotions arising, it is nothing to do with what is really happening in reality, but a strong emotion arises probably due to a threat in survival. It's a survival mode that kicks in. So, I invite you to take on this practice, the Tibetan practice of jumping backwards and forwards to different points of views. And so that would actually help ease the pain in the neck. Okay. And what does the pain in the neck mean? Who is it that you are being a pain in the neck to? Who is actually pressing your buttons? So look at these things as well and communicate there. It is the opening to the deep subconscious, and especially where the occiput, at the occiput, where the spine enters the skull, and that point is really, really important. So many nerve endings. It is also esoteric point where spirit comes into the body. So it's one of the gateways. So please take good care of yourself. Speak the truth of your being. Okay? Because I'm talking to myself. Okay. Thank you, Randeren. He says, Ha'oked, Hamenaked. I hope I'm reading it right. V'hamizbeach. Yeah, it is the person who is creating the sacrifice, offering the sacrifice, the sacrificial object, and the altar. Thank you. That is so beautiful. It just meditate on that. It will give you that you are all these three things. It is incredible, incredible. So really, thank you. Namaste, Randeren. Okay, so we spoke about the neck, we spoke about the throat, and of course, the healing the throat chakra. There's really wonderful, wonderful tantric meditations, if you like, and they're to do with couples, and I teach that for love partners. And of course, Ariel Tamir and Noga, they can teach that, and Or and Uzi in Israel, they can teach that, and of course, Ben and Efrat, and Ro'i Ratzon, and Gaia, so Gaia Cohen. So these are some of my students over there where you are. And of course, Randeren, I don't know if I taught you these special tantric meditations, but you have many, many techniques of your own. I know that. Highly, highly knowledgeable. And so the throat chakra is about changing karma, speaking your truth, changing karma, healing the masculine within us. We each have the masculine aspects of our being. And so if we have issues with our fathers or a masculine other in our relationships, depending on what stage you're at, then this is a good thing to actually address. And you could do that with mantras. There are certain mantras. The mantra in Sanskrit that I have learned, and my sister pointed out that actually it's Hebrew as well, is Tirani La Kan Tam. Tyranny, mayhem, craziness. La, no, no more. Kan means here. Tam means finished. Tyranny la kan tam. So you do that over 2 breaths, like really reverberating. Tyranny la kan tam. This is profound. If you do that in a car with the windows closed, it is phenomenal because it reverberates. Don't do that while you're driving because it will change karmically the course of where you're going it did that to me. So no kidding. So Tiranila Kantam. Also, the Tibetans do these kind of throwing away and shudi, soha. Soha in Hebrew, it's Zohar. So you can do that, or so ha. And it's also slicha, which is forgiveness. So we need to forgive. And you've got to forgive. You've got to forgive yourself for however you feel. You've got to forgive for having human reactions, human emotions. It's all okay. You're having a wonderful or not so wonderful human experience. All is well under the sun. So forgive yourself, forgive others. And that is the point. And especially now, from going from the Rosh Hashanah to Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, it's about forgiveness. And I spoke about it earlier. It's like I didn't know how strong I was until I had to forgive someone who was never going to say sorry. So really, it's about us releasing them, not condoning what they've done. No, releasing them. They have no hold or hook over us anymore, so that we can really thrive. So releasing those emotional ties, really important. And emotional ties, or emotional roots, if you like, it's a bit like a tree. So it has deep-seated root into our being, into our hara, into the core of our being. And you may cut a branch and then it's still there. There's emotional entanglement. There's hook that is constantly there, dragging you down, sapping your energy. So the way to do it is by bringing love, not by pulling against. It's a bit, the Thai or the Indian kind of, the Chinese torture finger braces, that the more you pull, the stronger they clamp. So actually stop pushing against, stop pulling, just relax, and then they dissipate naturally. Just sending love and healing, and they all dissipate and disappear. In fact, you can invite them to even let go. So thank your ailments. Thank your pain. See what it is that it's trying to teach you. You may even want to send it as a bubble, and then really push that away from you. And then push away with your breath. And make sure that everything is actually not connected. You can shoot it etherically if you like. You can cut it, you can burn it, you can do whatever works for you. The Tibetans do this kind of practice with exhalation. They cleanse their being. They cleanse any connection to anything that doesn't serve their chosen higher purpose. So it really is good to actually do that. And the Jews do that through mikveh. And going, in fact, the next few days, the Jews will go to rivers and to the sea and then empty their pockets and let go. So do that. Take these rituals. They are so important. Cleansing, really letting go, clearing the pockets, clearing the drawers, or if you have any boxes under the bed, clean that. Clear the space. Let go of anything that doesn't serve you. Be the graceful person of healing, sending healing, releasing. Okay? And declaring to people. Whenever you declare to people, I am forgiving this person. I am forgiving for all the wrongs that has been done. I am doing this, that, and the other. Then suddenly there's consensus in your community. People are listening to you. Yeah, you're graceful. You're creating this, that, and the other. So there's agreement, there's support, there's people who will hold you to account, and suddenly it takes shape. If you want to create something, abracadabra, evra ke'adabera, exactly the same words, letters. You create as you shall speak. You speak the words, you speak whatever you're creating. You declare something, and it is whole, perfect, and complete. So that's all the prayers, the blessings, whether you use Hebrew, Arabic, Sanskrit, Tibetan, it's okay. Whatever, or Hindi, whatever language you use, offer yourself. Use that as an offering of your being, because you're the prayer. Remember, words through sound is persona. Who you say you are is who you are. Persona. Persona means through sound. So in Latin. So it's very, very simple. Now, a lot of people repeat certain things, like in love partners, they repeat ailments, and they repeat complaints, and that's because they have not been heard. If your love partner is repeating something that they're not happy about, and you heard it 10,000 times or 10,008 times before, you need to actually repeat to them what they said, because their experience is that they have not been heard. When they really get that they have been heard, they stop saying it. It really does work as magic. So practice it with your clients, because I know all of you are practitioners. Practice it with your clients, okay? And then experiment with your love partner. Please do not do that as a manipulation or a power tool. It's an act of generosity of your being. So let me have a look. We spoke about the cause of the pain. I wanted to address, someone said to me, when they're having a pain on their shoulders treated, it jumps somewhere else. And often when we heal one point, when we are addressing it in one point, whether we're pressing it, and then it will jump to another place. And it often jumps, there's 4 jumps, if you like, 4 locations. So there's the place where originally hurts, and then it jumps elsewhere. So we go and address that point, and then it will jump another place, and then to the center of that triangulation. And it's really, really important. And in the Paratam sound healing that I teach, we actually do, for instance, if we are doing a triangulation between the top of the ear, the eyes, and there'll be 1, 2, 3, and then at the center 4. And so it's really important. And this point here actually is the point of treating when we have freak out. Someone asked me, what do we do when we're freaking out or uncontrollable za'am, rage? So don't do that to someone who's got rage, because that will compound it. But the person themselves, they have to take control and press and activate these points here and here as well. Really, really important. So all these points in our body will have an emotional and physical effect. Of course, what you eat will also translate into internal well-being, and that will then come out as ailments or not, or well-being. You can thrive, you can radiate and glow wellness, or there could be a collapse and stagnation and disease. So we need to kind of look at the lifestyle choices that we have. Are there any more questions, live questions? Okay, so I'm going to just address a couple of things. Yeah, so headaches. There was a big question about headaches, and I wrote and I also sent some pictures about the points of treatments on the head. So there's migraines and headaches and what we want to see or not want to see. So the head, there's so many points, but the head is actually the ultimate gateway connection to the divine, to consciousness. And so we need to really see clearly, and here in the crown is a huge entry point, and at the back. So all these gateways that we need to keep them clear. And the way to cleanse energetically is through your mind's eye. You can actually visualize healing. You can visualize a huge pyramid and an upside down pyramid. So Merkava, that double pyramids, one within each other, like a Star of David, but three-dimensional. And you can imagine that your head is actually energetic lines or energy pyramid, Merkava. And you can actually consciously breathe into these areas, the occiput at the back where the spine enters the skull, and the third eye. You can breathe in consciously light into there, breathing in, and exhaling through the crown chakra, exhaling out through the crown chakra. So that is one side, one triangle. And also through the sides here, either above the ears or through the ears, entry point. And these 4 points will inscribe one base of the pyramid. And then you take that and you invert it to the base of the throat, but inside the throat, and then out there, here and there. So there's 2 pyramids, and you can breathe in energy and light and exhale the antidote of the ailment. So if you're feeling misery, or if you're feeling unloved or pain or migraine is used to punish others and yourself, of course. So and avoiding experiencing life. It can also be dehydration. So you need to really look after your well-being. Okay, so you need to know that drinking a lot of water may not be the answer. You need to drink water that will actually get absorbed. So give yourself a dash of lemon juice or lime, or a little bit of salt in there, or coconut water, something that there's electrolytes, so that it actually gets absorbed in the body. Minimize the amount of coffee and tea that you drink. In Israel, you drink a lot of coffee. In England, we drink a lot of tea. So they are diuretics. They actually increase the amount of liquid that is being lost through urine. So I don't advise to drink a lot of coffee and tea. Even herbal teas, they are diuretic. So be mindful of that. Although chai is very nice. So we spoke about what causes pain. The truth is that we are fully responsible for our ailments. We're fully responsible for our well-being. It's choices that we made, whether consciously or unconsciously. The more aware we become, the more we see how we stop ourselves from experiencing certain things because it's uncomfortable, or maybe we don't want to take full responsibility, so we create the ailments so that we have the evidence here. You see, I had to stop doing this, that, or the other, instead of saying, you know what, I choose not to do this thing. So try that on. I know how I used ailments in the past as a way of avoiding being responsible for certain things. So at least I'm talking from experience. And all these healing modalities that I talk about is actually experienced within me. Now, there are also points of EFT, emotional freedom technique, and TAT and all these techniques. Great, use them. Use them. Whatever healing modality you're connected to, use it. So if you're feeling that you need to use EFT in order to stop yourself from feeling panicky or fear of something, I don't know, fear of spiders or fear of addressing something, or even if you don't understand, do it. People use it to stop smoking, really to stop smoking. It's the new year now, so that's why I'm addressing that, is people have to choose to stop smoking. I stopped smoking and I chose it for whatever reason. Some people, it's the money aspect. For some people, it's the smell. For other people, it's the health aspect. And often that is insufficient for people to stop smoking, because they just stop smoking when it really gets bad with their health. So there's the financial aspect, there's the smell, there's the health issue, there's the social acceptance or inacceptance of the smoking. So all these aspects, but until the person desires to stop smoking, they won't do it, because really the truth is that they stop smoking every night. Whenever they're asleep, they stop smoking. Within 3 hours, the body is actually rid of all the nicotines and the addiction isn't there anymore. So it's pure habit. That's the truth. It's pure habit. It's the same with eating or overeating. It's pure habit. So for some people, they shed the responsibility for other people to do it for them. So they pay thousands of pounds, and they would pay hypnotherapists and they would pay coaches to help them shed weight. But the truth is, they know how to do it. Eat less, exercise more. If they can't go to the gym, they can at least walk much more. They can get themselves a little pedometer that counts the steps, or they just need to know that if they walk a couple of kilometers a day, that will increase their health. If they climb up the stairs, that would increase their health. Do it slowly to start with and gradually build up. The point is, how we eat is a choice, and it's about a choice, and it's about habit. So if we break the habit by, for instance, eating slower, by putting the fork and knife down, every single bite, every single mouthful, you put the knife and fork down and you remove your hands. You may be even sitting on your hands in order to stop yourself from piling on the fork again, so that you do it as a conscious act. You actually eating a mouthful with awareness, so not looking on the television, at the television or the computer, but really concentrating on what you're eating, chewing minimum 20 times. You think it's a lot, but actually chewing minimum 20 times every mouthful, because it will break down, the saliva will break down. You will actually feel fuller earlier. You would actually eat less, and you will feel satiated much quicker. So, and you will shed weight easily and effortlessly. So it's just creating a habit. That's it. Everything else is addictions or an emotional overcompensation. And that's okay. That's absolutely okay. Enjoy it. Eat what you want. Eat whenever you want, but do it consciously, slowly, without distraction. So really be fully with whatever it is you're doing. If you are eating something, be with the eating. Chew it, fully experience it. If you are smoking, I don't advocate to do that, but if you are, then at least smoke consciously. Take the inhalation and be with the cigarette, commune with that smoke. Don't drink with it at the same time. Don't talk over it, because then you're oblivious to what you're doing. Don't smoke and drive at the same time, because you are you're multitasking, you're not being with what is. So that is the way to actually give up any addiction, which is really liberating and very inexpensive and very easy. Okay. It has been an hour. I think that's it, because talking like that without hearing other people, I need to find out how to get all of you live with me so that we have a live discourse. Thank you for all of you who've been on. If you have any questions, you want something specific that I will address, write it for me in the post or write it privately. I will address. I believe I've addressed everything that was sent to me. And if I haven't, then I apologize and I will restore my integrity with you. And so I wish you a wonderful, wonderful new year. May it be filled with everything that you desire and everything that you wish upon the others, and way, way beyond. Namaste. Thank you.